The Heartland season 19 episode 4 trailer has officially dropped, and fans are already losing their minds. What was supposed to be a quiet, romantic getaway for Amy and Nathan has turned into a full-blown disaster. One filled with unexpected tension, haunting memories of Ty, and emotional chaos that threatens to shatter everything Amy has been rebuilding for years. This episode might be the most shocking one yet, because it doesn't just test Amy's new relationship, it forces her to face the truth she's been avoiding all season long. And if the trailer is any indication, the storm that's coming will not only change Amy's heart forever, but might also destroy her bond with Nathan before it even fully begins. For the past few episodes, Heartland has been gently pushing Amy and Nathan closer together, giving us glimpses of a new beginning. Something peaceful, something real. But Heartland being Heartland, happiness never lasts long. Just when Amy starts to trust again, to laugh again, to maybe, just maybe, fall in love again, the universe finds a way to remind her that love in Heartland never comes without heartbreak. The trailer opens with what seems like the perfect escape. Amy and Nathan finally take a break from the ranch, heading out on a quiet trip away from all the drama. For once, it looks like they might get to just breathe. Amy smiles. Nathan looks happy. Everything feels calm, almost too calm. And if there's one thing we've learned from this show, it's that calm always means a storm is right behind it. We hear Amy's voice, soft but filled with something deeper. Maybe guilt, maybe fear. It feels strange being away from Heartland, she says, and you can almost feel the weight of that line. Because for Amy, being away doesn't just mean leaving the ranch. It means leaving behind Ty's memory, the one she's carried like a shadow for years. This trip was supposed to be a chance for her to move on, but deep down, Amy knows she hasn't fully let go. And neither has the show. Ty's presence still lingers, not just in Amy's heart, but in everything around her. Every quiet moment between her and Nathan carries an echo of what she once had and lost. But then things start to change. The trailer cuts to a few flashes of tension. Nathan looking uneasy, Amy turning away, her face filled with confusion. Something's wrong. Then, out of nowhere, Caleb appears in the picture again, and that's when things really start to fall apart. At first, it's not clear why he's there, but the tone immediately shifts from romance to rivalry. Caleb's protective side comes out in the worst possible way. He questions Nathan's intentions, throws in a few sharp comments about how some people just don't understand Heartland the way we do, and the air between the three of them turns heavy. For Nathan, it's obvious that Caleb's words cut deep. He's already struggling with the idea that he'll never fully replace Ty, that no matter what he does, he'll always be compared to him. Now, with Caleb hovering around, reminding Amy of her past every chance he gets, Nathan begins to feel like an outsider again. And that's exactly where the real drama begins. You can tell Nathan's patience is wearing thin. Not just with Caleb, but with the entire situation. He loves Amy, but being around people who still worship Ty like a saint makes him feel invisible. And honestly, who can blame him? Imagine falling for someone who still dreams about another man, someone who's no longer here, yet somehow still owns every piece of her heart. What makes this even more intense is that Amy doesn't realize how much her silence is hurting Nathan. She's caught in this emotional crossfire, torn between the love she lost and the one she's afraid to lose. The trip was supposed to fix things, but instead, it's pulling them further apart. The trailer shows a heartbreaking shot of Amy sitting by the fire, staring into the flames, her eyes wet with tears. Nathan tries to comfort her, but she pulls away. Not because she doesn't care, but because she's scared of what it means to truly move on. That single moment, that hesitation, says more than any words ever could. And then comes the real shock. The trailer flashes to a storm sequence. Dark clouds, heavy rain, and a sudden panic as their car gets caught on a back road. Caleb, who was supposed to help them get back safely, ends up arguing with Nathan right before everything goes wrong. The tension boils over, and we hear Nathan's voice shout something like, "You'll never understand what she means to me," before everything fades into chaos. The screen cuts to black, and all we hear next is Amy's scream. This isn't just another dramatic cliffhanger. This is a turning point. Heartland Season 19. Episode 4 isn't about Amy finding peace, it's about her facing the storm she's been avoiding since Ty's death. The storm that hits in the trailer isn't just a physical one. It's emotional, symbolic, and brutal. Heartland has always loved using nature to mirror what's happening in the characters' hearts, and this time is no different. As Amy, Nathan, and Caleb find themselves stranded in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by heavy rain and thick fog, you can almost feel the unease building. Every glance between Nathan and Caleb feels like a spark waiting to explode. Amy tries to stay calm, but deep down, she knows this isn't just about the weather. It's about all the emotions that have been building for years finally breaking loose. Nathan, who's usually the calm and level-headed one, starts to lose patience. He's been polite, understanding, even forgiving, but everyone has a breaking point. He can't shake the feeling that Caleb doesn't just dislike him, he resents him. And the truth is, he's right. Caleb's behavior has been getting more unpredictable lately. One moment he's joking around like the old days, and the next he's making snide remarks about Nathan being a replacement. It's clear that Caleb has been carrying his own unresolved pain. Pain that has nothing to do with Nathan himself, but everything to do with losing Ty, losing Amy, and maybe even losing his place in Heartland's story. Meanwhile, Amy is stuck between two men who represent two completely different parts of her life. Caleb is the living reminder of her past, of everything she's already endured, the heartbreak, the chaos, the history. Nathan, on the other hand, is the fragile symbol of her future, a chance at peace, love, and something new. But how do you move forward when your past keeps pulling you back? That's the question Amy has been silently asking herself all season. And now, in this terrifying moment, surrounded by darkness and uncertainty, that question becomes impossible to ignore. As the trailer hints, the storm worsens. Their vehicle breaks down, forcing them to seek shelter in an abandoned cabin nearby. It should be a safe place, but the air inside feels heavier than the rain outside. There's tension, silence, and the sound of thunder echoing through every word they say. Caleb tries to start a fire while Amy tends to the horses, and Nathan just watches, tired, frustrated, and emotionally drained. You can see the exhaustion in his eyes, not just from the storm, but from everything he's been holding in. For weeks, he's been walking on eggshells, trying not to upset Amy, trying not to compete with a ghost. But tonight, that fragile patience finally starts to crumble. At one point, Caleb mutters something under his breath. It's something about how Ty would have known what to do. And that's it. Nathan snaps. His calm voice turns sharp, and he finally says what we've all been thinking. I'm not Ty. I'm not trying to be him, but maybe it's time everyone stopped pretending he's still here. Those words cut through the cabin like lightning. Amy freezes, Caleb stares in shock, and for a moment, nobody says anything. Because deep down, they all know he's right. Ty's memory has been hanging over everything. Every decision, every conversation, every relationship. It's not about forgetting him. It's about learning to live again. But that's easier said than done. Amy, of course, is torn apart by what Nathan says. She understands him. She even agrees. But hearing it out loud feels like betrayal. It feels like letting go of Ty means letting go of a piece of herself. Her eyes fill with tears, and you can almost hear her voice breaking as she whispers, "You think I haven't tried?" That one line hits hard because it's true. Amy has tried to move on, to find happiness, to believe she deserves love again. But every time she takes a step forward, something or someone drags her back into the past. And now, she's forced to face that truth in the most painful way possible. The argument between Nathan and Caleb escalates quickly. Caleb accuses Nathan of not understanding Heartland, of not knowing what Amy's been through. But what Caleb doesn't realize is that Nathan does understand. He just doesn't want to live in the shadow of someone else's grief. The two men's voices clash against the sound of thunder until Amy finally shouts, "Enough!" The way she says it is raw, trembling, filled with emotion. She's not just breaking up their fight, she's breaking under the weight of everything she's been carrying. Then, the trailer gives us one of the most haunting moments of the season. Amy stepping out into the storm alone. The rain pours down as she walks away from the cabin, her expression unreadable, her heart clearly breaking. It's a powerful image because it represents everything she's been feeling all season long. Lost, torn, and trying to find herself again. Nathan calls after her, but she doesn't look back. For a few seconds, all we hear is the sound of rain and her footsteps fading into the darkness. The morning after the storm feels eerily quiet, almost too quiet. The chaos of the night is gone, replaced by the sound of rain dripping from the trees and the heavy silence that follows a fight no one wanted to have. Nathan wakes up to find the cabin empty. Amy is gone. Panic hits immediately. The camera lingers on his face as realization sets in. She walked out in the middle of the storm, and no one knows where she went. For a moment, Nathan freezes. He looks around, calling her name, hoping she just stepped outside. But the more he searches, the more dread fills his chest. Caleb rushes out after him, and even he looks shaken. Whatever anger they had toward each other disappears in an instant. The only thing that matters now is finding Amy before it's too late. The trailer then cuts to a haunting series of shots. Amy wandering through the foggy forest, soaked, trembling, but determined. She looks lost, but there's something purposeful about her movements. It's as if she's chasing something. Or someone. Her mind flashes back to old memories of Ty, of moments they shared in the rain, of him smiling at her as if she was the only person in the world. It's beautiful, but painful, and you can almost feel her inner turmoil tearing her apart. Amy isn't just lost in the woods. She's lost in her own heart. For years, she's been telling herself that she's ready to move on, but deep down, she never truly said goodbye to Ty. This storm, this fight, this chaos, it's all forcing her to finally confront the truth she's been avoiding. Meanwhile, Nathan and Caleb are desperately trying to track her down. The tension between them is still there, but it's buried under guilt and fear. Nathan can't stop blaming himself for what happened. His words from the night before echo in his mind. "I'm not Ty." The more he repeats them, the worse he feels. He didn't mean to hurt Amy. He just wanted to be honest. He wanted her to see that he wasn't trying to replace anyone. But now, all he can think about is finding her before something terrible happens. Caleb, on the other hand, is struggling with his own guilt. He knows his jealousy and his inability to let go of the past pushed this entire situation to the breaking point. For once, both men have to put their pride aside and work together, not for themselves, but for Amy. Then comes one of the most breathtaking scenes hinted at in the trailer. The moment Nathan finally finds Amy. She's standing by a riverbank, staring into the rushing water, lost in thought. The light hits her face just right, and you can see the exhaustion, the heartbreak, and the quiet acceptance in her eyes. She doesn't turn around when Nathan approaches. She just says softly, "He's everywhere, Nathan. Every time I try to move on, I feel like I'm betraying him." Those words cut deep, not only for Nathan, but for every viewer who's watched Amy's journey since Ty's death. It's such a raw confession. Honest, painful, and long overdue. Nathan steps closer, his voice barely above a whisper. "You're not betraying him, Amy. You're just trying to live, and that's the line that sums up everything. This is what the entire season has been building toward." Amy's struggle to live again. For the first time, she doesn't argue. She doesn't run away. She just listens. The silence that follows feels heavier than thunder, filled with emotion neither of them can fully express. Nathan doesn't try to touch her or force her to talk. He just stands there, waiting, giving her space. And that's what makes this moment so powerful. It's quiet, it's gentle, and it's exactly what Amy needs. Back at the cabin, Caleb waits anxiously. When Nathan and Amy finally return, drenched but safe, you can tell something has shifted. The fight from the night before still lingers, but the energy is different now. Calmer, more grounded. Amy doesn't say much, but the look she gives Caleb says it all. She's tired of the tension, the comparisons, and the constant reminders of what she's lost. She just wants peace. For once, Caleb seems to understand. His usual sarcasm fades, replaced by genuine remorse. He admits that he's been unfair, not just to Nathan, but to Amy too. He confesses that seeing Amy with someone else brought back old emotions he thought were gone, but deep down, he knows she was never his to hold on to. It's one of the few times Caleb truly feels vulnerable, and honestly, It's refreshing to see him finally take responsibility. Amy, ever the heart of Heartland, forgives him. That's who she is. She always finds empathy even when she's hurting. But this time, her forgiveness feels different. It's not just about Caleb, it's about herself. She's finally starting to forgive herself for moving on, for feeling something new, for daring to love again after everything she's lost. You can almost see the weight lifting off her shoulders as she exhales, her eyes softer than they've been all season. The trailer cuts off right after that terrifying jolt in the sky, leaving every fan frozen in shock. Did Heartland really just tease another tragedy? After everything Amy has already gone through, the idea of losing someone else feels unbearable. But that's exactly what makes this show so powerful. It never lets its characters or its audience stay comfortable for long. The storm might have calmed, but what happens next looks like it's going to shake Amy's world once again. From the trailer's quick flashes, it's clear something goes wrong mid-flight. The engine sputters, the plane shakes violently, and Caleb yells for Nathan to take control. You can almost hear the fear in their voices as Amy clutches her seat, her eyes wide with panic. For a few seconds, all we see are flashes of chaos, a warning light, the plane dipping low, and Nathan's determined face as he tries to keep everyone calm. It's a nerve-wracking sequence, the kind that makes your heart stop because it mirrors the emotional turbulence Amy has been battling inside. But here's where things get truly fascinating. Even though this moment is terrifying, it's also symbolic. For Amy, being in that plane represents everything she's been avoiding. The fear, the loss of control, the realization that life can change in an instant, it's all right there in front of her. And as the plane fights against the wind, you can almost see her realizing that she's been living her life the same way, desperately trying to stay in control when sometimes you just have to trust the ride. Eventually, the plane manages to make an emergency landing in a wide-open field, but the tension doesn't fade. The three of them sit there in stunned silence, breathing heavily, trying to process what just happened. Caleb slams his hand against the dashboard, frustrated that his mistakes nearly cost them their lives. Nathan, however, doesn't say a word. His focus is entirely on Amy. She's shaken, pale, and completely silent. Not crying, not talking, just staring out the window as if she's seeing something the others can't. In that moment, it's like time stops for her. Everything, the storm, the fight, the fear, collapses into one overwhelming truth. Life is fragile, and love doesn't wait for perfect timing. Nathan reaches out, his hand trembling slightly, and this time, Amy doesn't pull away. Their eyes meet, and without saying a single word, they both understand. After everything that's happened, after all the arguments and the ghosts of the past, Amy finally realizes she's been holding on to fear more than memory. Ty will always be a part of her. That will never change. But she can't keep punishing herself for being alive when he's not. The near-death experience shakes her to her core and forces her to confront something she's been too afraid to admit. She loves Nathan, not because he's like Ty, but because he isn't. The trailer hints at a tender scene that follows. Amy and Nathan sitting under the wing of the grounded plane, wrapped in a blanket, the sun rising slowly behind them. For once, there's no background music, no distractions, just silence. Nathan looks at her and quietly says, "I thought I lost you." Amy takes a deep breath before replying, "You didn't? I just needed to find myself again." It's such a simple exchange, but it carries the weight of everything she's been through. This isn't just a love story anymore. It's about healing, about finally giving herself permission to be happy. Meanwhile, Caleb keeps his distance, watching them from afar. For the first time, he understands that Amy and Nathan's connection isn't just some rebound romance. It's real, raw, and built on shared pain. He knows he has to let go of the past, too. The look on his face in that brief trailer shot says it all. Regret, acceptance, and maybe even a quiet blessing. Heartland has always been about family and growth, and in this moment, Caleb starts to grow again, finally realizing that holding on to old feelings only keeps everyone stuck. When the three of them finally make it back to Heartland, something feels different. Amy steps off the truck and takes a long look at the ranch, the place that holds every memory of Ty, every piece of her old life. But instead of feeling weighed down by it, she smiles. A small, genuine smile. It's the kind of smile we haven't seen from her in a long time. The kind that tells us she's finally ready to move forward. The trailer gives us a glimpse of her walking towards Spartan, brushing her hand along his mane, whispering softly, "We're okay." It's a moment of peace, but also rebirth. Still, not everything is perfect. The town, the people, and even members of her family will soon start talking about what happened. About Amy and Nathan being stranded together, about the storm, about the plane incident. You can already feel that the next episode will deal with the aftermath. The gossip, the questions, the doubts. But Amy doesn't care anymore.